Hi, my name is Ben, and I am a former LSU football player. Was there from '86 through '91. A typical day for me during those times in football, when I was on the football team, started at 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Get up, grab a quick bite to eat about 5, and we had morning workouts that typically lasted about an hour and a half to 2 hours during morning workouts. By that time, we had it was about 8:30 or so, and we're off to class. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays were the heavy days as far as the class schedules. We'd be in class from about 8:30, 9 o'clock all the way till about 2:30 in the afternoon. And then the fun starts. About 3 o'clock, we're to show up at the sports complex and start our afternoon workouts. It's usually a light workout to really get ready for practice. Some calisthenics or some, what our strength coach used to call blood warmers to get us ready for the real practice. So about 4 o'clock, we're on the team bus headed to our football practices, and we practice probably from about 4:30, 5 o'clock to about 7 or 7:30. Now I know NCAA rules have changed a bit since then, but we would be out there for about 2.5, 3 hours, back at the complex about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And we all breaking for our team meetings, kind of breaking down the practices, what we need to improve on. The coaches get a chance to evaluate our day, and then we're off to study hall. Study hall from about 10:30, according to what kind of load you might be carrying that semester, about 10:30 until you get all of your studying done. And if you're lucky, you're back in the bed about 2:30 in the morning, and get you a few hours of sleep and get started all over again the next day. So that's a typical day for me during the season. Now, off season, you would think it would get a little easier, but actually it gets a little more hectic. You're encouraged to carry a few more hours during the off season because to be able to stay ahead or even get ahead track on graduation. Workout times get a little bit more intense and longer because there is no football practices, there are no away games, so a lot of your time is structured and spent in the weight room. So off season, you can probably double our workout and athletic time. In the past, there wasn't a whole lot of regulation as far as how long the team could stay together during team meetings and film breakdown. Now, today the NCAA really regulate how long a team could be together as far as the coaches calling the actual team meetings or any activities together, because they really want to emphasize academics, more time spent on academics. I wish somebody would have sat me down and told me the traps of having newfound freedom. When I was in high school, you had mom to wake you up, for class, get you ready for class, remind you that you better get your homework done, check your homework when before you left. If there was a big project, make sure it was all taken care of. Even when you came home, to make sure your day was orderly and make sure you had all of your assignments ready to do for that evening to turn in for the next day. I found when I got to college that newfound freedom, that I thought was going to be just the greatest thing in the world, and not having mom on your back about homework, it was a trap. I took for granted that I'll get to it. I don't have mom getting on my back, so I can sleep in a little bit and I'll just get to it later on. Well, it became a habit to put off things to where I found myself in that first semester catching up. So that was a challenge, trying to prioritize my time and be my own alarm clock, and realizing that mom was no longer there to wake me up, that I had to make sure that I got up, to make sure that my assignments were all done, because the professors were going to grade them as they were. They weren't going to sit down and tell you, say, hey, you need to take a look at this and take another look at that. The professors expect you to be prepared coming to college. My advice to you is that get into a habit of doing things without mom and dad, having to tell you all the time. Time management. Time management was a big challenge for me. I found that I had so much time on my hands that I can kind of move around when I wanted to, wake up when I wanted to. It was hard putting things in order, without mom and dad on my side to kind of push me along. So it took me a semester and a half to get it together, and I think I finally got it together. Obviously, my favorite part of being a member of the LSU football team was, as a team, all the extra attention. Every kid coming out of high school going into, play for a major institution like that, love to have their name on the papers and, being named one of the biggest signees of the biggest class and all the extra attention that comes along with it. And I think probably one of the other favorites about being a student athlete was the camaraderie, not only on the team but in the athletic community. The baseball players, the basketball players, the football players, we all shared a dorm. So some of the guys that you get to see, I got to see on TV before I got there, I live right next door to some of these guys like Shaquille O'Neal and Chris Jackson, some of those guys. And, one of the benefits of being a student athlete at LSU, with all the people that I got to meet that I probably normally wouldn't have if I wasn't a student athlete. I mean, I met actors and politicians and pro athletes that were fans of the LSU football team simply being a part of the team. It was a great experience, and they filmed a movie. I can't think of the name of the movie. I think it was a story about one of our LSU greats, Billy Cannon, football player back in the 50s that won the Heisman Trophy winner, and Dennis Quaid played this football player, and they were filming a scene at LSU during the LSU-Alabama game. And I remember halftime, they were rushing us all off, and all the production was coming on, and I ran into Dennis Quaid, almost knocked him down, actually. He's like, man, y'all had playing a good game, and kind of rushed on. So that was a good experience to have him on campus. Long-term benefits, probably some of the friendships that I've made over the years with the LSU family. Facebook is really, really big, and there's an LSU family Facebook page that I'm a member of, and man, guys that I played with years ago, I run into them after 15, 20 years of not talking to them, and just some of the long-term friendships that I've created, by being a member of that team, can't replace that. Some of these guys are pro coaches, some of them are professors in colleges, and some of them are just hardworking members of the community. And we all have a common bond, man. We shared that time at LSU. Some of them were hard, some of them were great, but man, we were all a member of the LSU Tigers. That's something we'll never forget. So I tell you, anybody that's aspiring to go to the next level from high school to college football, there's a few things you got to be prepared for. Being in football is such a demanding sport. Kids are getting bigger and faster. You have got to be physically fit for this sport. It's the only sport that the collision between two football players are compared to a car wreck. I found that a lot of kids in high school, like to be stylish with their equipment and look good for the camera, and that's all great. And they shun the equipment that protects them. My advice to you is do not wear the equipment given to you. Concussions are rampant even in high school. You got to realize that the speed difference between high school and college is so much different. You can be the fastest guy on your team and get to college that everybody's as fast as you. Everybody is stronger than you in college. So number one, get physically fit. Eat right, train hard, and get as big and as fast as you can to give yourself a chance once you make that jump to college. I'm sorry. Wear the equipment, because you got guys that are bigger and faster than they were the guys you were competing against in high school, and injuries are long lasting that can be prevented by wearing all of the equipment. Some of the other advice I would give you was that eating right and getting enough sleep. There's nothing more dangerous than a high school kid thinking that, because you got away with half eating right and getting only a couple hours sleep between practices because the competition wasn't as great. Everybody's great in college. That's why they're there. So any advantage that you can get by getting enough sleep, by eating the right foods, with getting your body right for competition. For the offensive linemen, the big guys, you're always going to be battling every play. You never get a play off. Unlike the other guys that sometimes they may, have contact and sometimes you don't. To prepare for that, you have to be not only mentally strong, but you got to be physically stronger than your opponent. And you ask, how do I know I'm going to be physically stronger? When your body wants to shut down, you push it a little further, not to where it'll get damage, but you got to realize that your body's going to be competing, slamming every day or every play. And the only way that you give yourself a chance is to be stronger than the next guy. Offensive line is the position on the football team that gets no glory, no recognition, and certainly when things go wrong, if your quarterback gets sacked, then everybody knows your name. So the advice for that would be to study your craft. If you're a center, you're the captain of that team. You got to know what every other lineman on your line is supposed to do. Normally they said the center is the smartest guy. I think all of the offensive line are the smartest guys on the team because they have to not only listen to the count of the quarterback, listen to all the changes that he decides he wants to make, and keep the snap count where everybody's on the same page. So study your craft, take care of your body, eat right, and train hard. That's my advice to any high schooler wanting to go to the next level playing football. The NCAA looks at giving you a scholarship as an investment. And with any investment, they want to make sure that they're spending their money or putting their money and resources in the right person. And what I mean by that is that you could have a 4.0 GPA, you can have a 20-plus ACT and a high SAT score, but if your character is not lined up with what they're looking for, what fits their institution, you're not going to be signed. Long gone are the days where they'll take the player that may have marginal character issues, but is a great football player and a good student, and they'll sign him and take the chance on him. Because you go there, you're representing that institute, and they're not going to, give you the money or give you the scholarship, with the chance of you getting out there and making them look bad. Colleges and these big, institutes with the big football programs, sign major television deals, and the last thing they want is a guy that has a character issue getting on there and making them look bad. That'll kill any future television deals, and that's big, big money for them. So my advice to you is that if you can't get along with your teammates now, work on it. Because I'm telling you, you can be a great student, you can be a fantastic football player, and marginal character, they're not going to touch you. The NFL is really putting pressure on the NCAA to really screen those guys because then, when the Michigans and the LSUs are done with that, that character problem with that problem kid, it's now the NFL's problem. So they want to cut it off at the beginning. So start at the high school before you even get to college. Know that if you have had some problems in the past, got temper problems, work on it some sort of way. Go to another football player that you know locally and get some advice. Talk to your counselor and find out what it is that you can do to take care of those problems before you go to college, and ensure those colleges that are recruiting you that you won't be a character issue once they sign your scholarship to you. So good luck to you, and I thank you.